Greetings, YouTube.
What's up, guys? For today, we got a real interesting list. We are starting with our top 10 villains. And if you guys know us personally, I love some villains. That is 9 times out of 10 my favorite, most memorable parts of anime. The MC is good. I love the characters or whatever, but the villains, the murder.
You know, there's always at least one good villain in every show that just grabs your attention from the moment they're on screen.
And in these cases, you'll see a couple shows have a couple of really
Yeah, there's a couple shows where the villains are definitely more frequent than in other shows. And some shows you get one or two, and then some shows it's hard to even pick which one was the best.
Man.
So,
alright, so
with that being said, honorable mentions will be first.
Yes, they will. First off, he went first last time, so I will go first this time. My first honorable mention is Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, because we haven't seen all of what he can do yet, but I love that man. His energy, his ignorance, he just be clapping people. The fact that his domain is a physical domain instead of just being a barrier or something that you put around that gives you guaranteed attacks, he just savage as fuck with it, and I can appreciate that every single time I see this nigga on screen. I'm like, oh shit, shit about to get wild. And the fact that this man clapped Yuji in a little duel and can switch whenever he wants. Everyone wants this man on his team, but no one knows he's made a duel. That's next level planning, and I love it.
Yeah, they really set the stage for him. He just barely got kicked out of my list. My first honorable mention for nostalgia purposes is Frieza. Frieza's the boy. You know, he was the OG, I'm gonna fuck some shit up villain, especially back in those days. They had the longest anime fight. They held that shit for like 30 years up until One Piece broke that shit.
Yeah, that shit was insane. He's a little bit higher on my list. You'll see him a little bit later. My second honorable mention is Broly. I love that man. He is a monster, but he was just, a movie villain. I didn't get to see too much of him, and then Bio Broly happened, and Bio Broly happened.
We didn't talk about Bio Broly.
He would have been top 10 had that happened, but it did. So, whatever. Terrible. It was terrible.
There's not much there to go with. My next honorable mention is Gyutaro from Demon Slayer. My boy with the sickles from season 2. I don't know. He had that personality that really, really kind of stuck with me. I don't know. I think about this man from time to time. He was on some I'm gonna fuck some shit up, energy, and I appreciated that. And he definitely showed us that ain't nobody safe in this bitch. I don't care. I don't care if you teaming up on me or not. I'm about to fuck all of you up. So he had some great energy. I felt like so.
My last one was this one was really tough. It almost made my top 10. It was almost switched the top 10 and the honorable mention. But the rest of these guys are just so fucking good, from the planning and all the other ignorance that goes involved to being a good villain, that he just barely didn't make it. And that is Agnologia. This man is just pure power.
Menace.
It was just straight menace mode. It took 5 Demon Slayers fighting half of him while the other world was fighting the other half of him, just for niggas to win.
Bro.
And then come to find out, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. This was just setting the stage for the next arc. And that is just the wildest shit you can ever think of, ever. And that's another reason he ranks a little bit lower, because when you start to get to the manga, you start realizing that he was just set up for the next arc.
Yeah.
And shit gets
He
wild.
was just kind of set up for this 100-year quest, which is kind of wild. I'm reading that shit right now. It's fire.
So,
don't worry, he'll be coming back. He's actually higher on my list.
I'm just not as caught up as he is.
My last honorable mention, this is going to hurt my boy's feelings, but Grimjow. He barely missed out on the top 10. I mean, This man is number 11. He is so close, but
Love
the rest of my list, I love these guys so much. But Grimmjow is, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best villains in all of Bleach. That man is a monster, and he's a fucking menace. Like, let's be real.
I can agree with that. Like I said, you'll see him later on my list too. So
That being said, that wraps up the honorable mentions. So we'll be moving into our real top 10 now.
All right. Since we, like you said, we all love ourselves some good villains. My first one is just a fantastic character. He's not too asshole-ish. He's just a little cocky. That is Gilgamesh from Fate Stay series. That man is a monster. He was the king of all treasures when he was alive, and he just became a monster as a heroic spirit in the Holy Grail War. And the fact that he survived the first season to just start plotting all this other ignorance throughout all the rest of the seasons was just fantastic. And I loved him. Him and Hide Kotomine, when they first met, that man was a monster. And he was just talking about he was just kind of lost, but Gilgamesh was like, you following all these orders, you're such a good little dog, why don't you have some ambition of your own? Talking other niggas into shit where just a whole bunch of other ignorance happened just based off this man.
Bro, Gilgamesh was a plotting ass man.
He was a plotting ass man. He was a monster. And just the gall of this man. He thought every treasure on the planet, till this day still, was his. Every time this nigga saw a nigga with a little bit too much gold, he was like, what are you doing? That treasure is mine. Why the fuck do you have it? I love that.
Oh yeah, no, Gilgamesh is a monster. Don't worry, he'll be coming back later too. My number 10, he just kind of came into my view recently because I'm currently watching One Piece. So coming in at number 10 for me, only because I don't know very much about him yet, Doflamingo. This man vibes villain energy. Like this, I have not seen very much of him. You're about to see him because you're coming up on Marineford right now. That Marineford is where you kind of get to see a little peek of him, and that's what I saw. And that's all it took. That's all it took.
He's that good.
He's that, bro. I can already tell this man is going to be a menace. Like, bro, he's had a couple of minutes of screen time, and I'm like, yeah, this dude is gonna be a fucking problem. But at the same time, like, the way he looks at everything is so calm, cool, and collected. He's like a fucking, I don't know. He's got that Aizen level mentality. I'm just gonna sit back and kind of play my strings and see how this goes. Type of person. That's the kind of vibes I'm getting right now. He's like, but he's definitely gonna be a problem. So
I get that. And even before we started watching One Piece, I heard so much about Doflamingo. Everybody who watches One Piece seems to know that man is just
a menace.
A super menace to society.
Reason. No, this man's gonna be a fucking problem.
Yeah, apparently there's a fucking problem.
But I love him.
Just
love him.
So we're not even all the way there. So if we make another list, if y'all get requests, we make another list of the year.
He will probably move up. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. He will probably move up.
Probably. So number 9 for me, just because I haven't got to this motherfucker yet, he'll feel a little bit ahead of me on One Piece. Grimmjow Jaggerjack. Going back to this man, this nigga is such a menace, bro. When he first came in, the kicking the shit out of Ichigo, beating this nigga ass like a punching bag, and then just throwing him up. This man kicked Ichigo so hard he hit backflips from the sky to the ground. That was one of the most iconic moments of my whole childhood. I was up in a roar. I was like, no! Ichigo! Because Ichigo, he get his ass beat. Bro. But he wasn't out here just getting clapped like that.
Grimmjow handed Ichigo so many ass
whoopings, bro. And then when Rukia came to save this nigga,
that's my favorite part. That's honestly one of my favorite all-time parts in Bleach. Just because, like, I don't like Rukia all that much, I'm going to be completely honest. And I knew she was outmatched going into this, so she froze that man. I was like, okay, she's here to save the day. As soon as I saw that ice crack, I was like, oh, yes. He grabbed this bitch up by the face. I was like, oh, yes. That shit was great. The face palms and bleach.
Spoiler, he wanted her to die. He's a sack of shit. But no, I knew he wasn't going to kill the bitch. Maybe.
I was really hoping he was going to blow her face in. That would have been a growing moment for Ichigo if I would have ever seen one. The bitch that gave you your powers just got her face blown off right in front of you.
And you couldn't
do anything about it. That would have been a huge growth moment for Ichigo.
I think even with the same, he still learned a little bit, though.
I mean, he definitely learned a lot.
He was weak.
He got used for a punching bag for a minute straight.
Shit was hilarious.
Moving on up, we got number 9 for me is Akaza from Demon Slayer. Number 9. Right, yeah, number 9. Akaza. Mm-hmm. This man, he's a villain, but he also gives you the vibe like he's not a real villain. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he pulled up on Rengoku and instead of like, just, okay, my master told me to come here and kill you, I'm about to kill you. No, he rolled up and was like, you're strong. Let's fight. Yeah, he gave me straight Goku vibes. He said, you're strong. Let's fight. I want to see what you can do. And then, again, I've read all the manga, so there's some more shit that happens in that. If you know, you know. But, Akaza's up there for me. He pushed his way into the top 10, so.
That's interesting. Next, we are going with just brokenness and power scaling and turning niggas to chocolate. I'm gonna have to go with Majin Buu, number 8. When this man first popped up, it was damn near worse than the Broly movie when this nigga exterminated the whole of South Galaxy. This thing, they were talking about this nigga, he been reigning terror for thousands of years until this nigga got sealed. He ate a Grand Kai. That is a god for people who don't know. That's the only god in this nigga is the only thing that turned him halfway good. And when he got out, he was still being a menace. Turn around whole cities of people worth of niggas into chocolate for lunch. For actual lunch. And then made a friend in Hercule. Became good for real until they killed this nigga's puppy. They killed this nigga puppy. Then Evil Boo came out. Turned this nigga into chocolate, and then Super Boo was just a goddamn menace. When I say Majin Buu, I mean Majin Buu, Super Buu with Gotenks, Zord, Piccolo, Kid Buu, all of them. They was goddamn menaces. This man popping up on Gotenks, bro, talking about fight me. They said, nah, they're asleep from the last time you fought. Isn't there more people for you to go kill on the earth? Raised the hand up, said, boop, they're all dead. Everybody on the planet is dead except Hercule.
Except Hercule.
Like that. And then when he turned to Campo, popped up in the afterlife to beat the shit out of all the people he killed as Super Buu.
He was just gonna straight up blow that afterworld up. So like, yeah, if you die in Dragon Ball, you go to the afterlife, and you get to basically carry on your existence in the afterlife. But no, he was about to blow up the afterlife. So there was, once you die, it was done.
There's no coming back. There's no Dragon
I do want to revisit one menacing, absolutely disgusting thing Super Buu did. Let's talk about Chi-Chi for a second. He turned around, she slapped him, he turned around and said, Buu turn you to egg. She turned into an egg, and he just said some... Stepped on that bitch right in front of Goten. Bro, oh my god.
In front of her son.
That was menacing.
That is menacing. A lot of people overlook Buu, but I will not have it. That man was a great villain.
He was a menace.
He was stupid. Oh, fuck that. He was a monster. That man was a monster. And to this day, even as a good guy, he's still a
menace. Fucking with Beerus over some pudding.
Almost got the whole earth blew up.
Man.
That put you damn near back in the military.
Basically, yeah, pretty much.
You goofy. But
alright, with that, we're moving on to my number 8, and that is going to be Gilgamesh.
Fantastic.
Good old Gilgamesh. Again, we knew he was going to come back. That man is a plotting ass villain.
Man.
He don't be giving a fuck about nobody. He has his own set of morals. He don't give a fuck about nobody else.
He's a king. He
don't give a fuck about nobody else. He said, I died a king. I came back. I'm still a king. I don't give a fuck. And just the way that they hit you at the end of Fate Zero with him joining up with my boy for them to get the fucking dub that shit was nuts. You know, nobody saw that shit coming. You know, they lost. You know, he lost his thing. The Gilgamesh lost his master, and they're like, well, we can team up now. Like.
Yeah, that literally is it. I don't give a fuck about him.
I don't give a fuck about him. He dead. Yeah, I can join you. Yep.
Seals.
Yep.
You can have it. I don't care how.
I don't give a fuck. I just want to win. I don't give a fuck.
And you're more.
You're more interesting.
It's like
bro.
He said you're more interesting.
I love when villains do that. When they hit you with the because you're interesting.
Period.
That line gets me every time because that shows you that this villain already knows. They are hip to whatever bad intentions this dude is about to pull.
I feel that. Speaking of already knows, hopping straight into my number 7. Light Yagami / Ryuk. Because I can't really choose. I can't have them both be separate, but I also wanted to have them both in this video. Ryuk orchestrated all the events of Death Note. So he's basically...
By accident.
Yeah, but this
he just dropped it in there because he was bored.
He didn't. It don't matter.
He didn't know. He didn't.
Purpose.
He got accidentally lucky that he just happened to drop it next to the most interesting person on the whole planet.
So, that's where we start our story. And I know that technically, Light is the MC or whatever, but
that
he's
man's
evil.
Villain.
He evil
bro,
as fuck.
Believe me, bro. I was thinking the same thing when I was making my list. I was like, bro. He's the main character, but he's a fucking villain. This man is a menace to society.
Clearly, L and Nero and Mello are
the heroes. Yeah,
like
I mean,
they put this man in justice.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
the fuck was he talking
about? The one moment that really sticks out to me is after he murdered that first FBI agent and his wife. His wife was investigating him.
He made her kill
bro, and then started just laughing about it. Yeah, that bitch walked to her own grave and just started. I win. Like, bro, that is some diabolical shit.
That nigga is super diabolical. From that to the whole... First off, when he picked it up, he didn't believe it was real. When he tested it, he realized it was real. This nigga had, 3-4 days? 3 to 4 days to, write a bunch of names
before Ryuk showed up?
Popped up. This man, Ryuk, showed up talking about some...
Nobody's ever written this many names before.
Ever.
And you haven't even had this shit for a week.
And then he was like, you're not surprised? No, nothing. And then straight from there...
Bro, straight from there, Light said, I was born to do this. No hesitation, I will be God. Bro, no hesitation.
There's nothing.
Bro,
there's really nothing.
I love Death Note. Light Yagami is a fucking menace.
What's such a fucking menace? This man with Ryuk and the apples and all that shit. Such a menace.
I love the apples. Alright, hopping in. Number 7. I will probably have to go with Ulquiorra. This was tough. The placement on the list is tough just because I love all these guys so much. But Ulquiorra is up there just because this man, he was another one of those people to be handing out L's to Ichigo. Ichigo be taking fat L's. But this man was so strong, he made Grimmjow shit his pants. Grimmjow tried to he was so worried he tried to seal him in another dimension. He's like, oh yeah, that'll buy us about 2 hours. Man broke out in 20 minutes. Dude was like, fuck.
He broke out mid-battle. Bro. He was like, oh shit, it's time to go.
Time to go.
Put the burners on that nigga.
It's and then the way this man tried to break Ichigo's spirit just by transforming in front of him a second time. He's like, you already lost, but watch this.
That shit's some fucking menace.
What? Why are you still trying to fight me? You lost. And then, I'm sorry, he has done what almost no other villain in any anime can claim. This man killed the main character in front of his bitch.
Period.
And then just dropped his ass to the ground. I don't give a fuck.
That's why he's a little higher on my list. But that man is such a monster.
Yeah, Ulquiorra is a fucking menace. I feel like he'd be higher if we actually got what Tite Kubo had intended to give us with his fight between Ichigo and because it was supposed to apparently Ulquiorra was supposed to be matching this man for a minute. This fight was supposed to be long. But it got so short, and they just got fucked. And so it turning into a one-sided stomp really kind of hurt his standing, in my opinion, just because this man, he was so hyped up to be the strongest man, and then it just transformed and stomped him.
I'll give you that. I'll put him a little higher because I feel like they did him a little bit more justice with how they revamped it with the Bleach Hell movie.
It was a little bit better, but
still,
it didn't help enough, in my opinion. It was cool, but it didn't help enough, in my opinion.
We gonna get back to him later because I got another few reasons other than just fighting niggas that he was a great character. So on to number 6. Going back to the original most racist nigga in all of anime. We are going with some blow your planets up, die monkey. Frieza. This man is a menace for all time. Not only did this nigga blow up their planet, he used to conquer all sorts of ignorant planets and it's just broken as hell. Then they brought this nigga back for the Tournament of Power just for him to go be a villain again. This nigga, if you read the manga, he is a villain again. We got Black Frieza, which is fucked up because he racist. How you gonna be black and racist? That shit fucking me up. Nigga, stop playing with me. Stop. I know what y'all doing, Dragon Ball. Stop playing with me. Been calling niggas monkeys since day one, but now he Black Frieza. Whatever. Point is, this nigga promised Goku he would change over a new leaf after this. But
we all knew that was never gonna happen.
No, it's fucked up because this nigga smart as hell with it. He been evil in a different universe, so technically he haven't broke his promise. Like that shit fucked up.
It's not even he was in another universe. He was just trading in like a hyperbolic time chamber type deal. So yeah. He just wasn't part of their universe. So hey again, he's literally finding loopholes.
Loopholes. That's how you do it. Good villain. I promise you, nigga, forever I'll be good. I found me a whole little pocket space dimension where I can trade and come out stronger than this nigga, so I can say, fuck him, I'm still evil. That's just, that shit's fantastic.
I love that they're still keeping him relevant. That's the one thing.
Oh, I love it.
That is great. So moving on, number 6 for me, Light Yagami. As we've already covered, this man is a fucking menace. Man is literally, again, the way he did the dude's wife was fucking savage. Made her go kill herself, laugh that shit off.
All 15 of them, though. There were 15 FBI agents. And not only did this man make her kill herself, he got a list of all them niggas and made them all die simultaneously. Bro, there were a couple of different moments that really elevated Light to that next level. Like, that helicopter scene where he had the piece of the Death Note in his watch. Iconic. As soon as he got his memories back, he said, beep beep, let me get this bitch out real quick. Like a piece of the Death Note and a sliver of a watch.
And another savage thing when that reporter bitch was all on his dick and he just sent her out to die. Bro, like, Light was a menace at he was the same way with Misa. He didn't give a fuck. He was using every single person he could. He did not give a fuck. He said, oh, you want my attention? Okay. Now go fuck some people up for me.
This nigga even managed to kill a Shinigami, which is just insane.
Yeah, this man,
at the beginning of the show, we didn't know that niggas could die.
This man was able to bend everything so fucked up to force the hand of the other Shinigami. This again goes into he was using Misa so hard that this bitch did not have a choice but to write L's name in the day. Like, Light forced a Shinigami into a corner. Intellectually, which is fucking insane.
Which is just bonkers.
Like, and that was also really sad too, because as soon as they started showing, oh, L has human feelings, dead. Like, that's fucked.
That
shit was fucked. But that brings us into our top 5s.
Top 5s. My top 5 is an oldie but a goodie. It is Toguro, the Elder Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho. Now this man is such a goddamn menace. When he met Yusuke Urameshi, he was getting paid to lose this fight. So he whooped his ass for like 20 minutes, and then proceeded to get hit with a spirit gun and then fake death. So, Yusuke was done with this nigga. And he just went on about his life. But about 3 months later, the Dark Tournament was coming up. And this nigga popped up on him after he got like 3 or 4 more buffs from fighting other niggas. Because you know, power scaling in anime, you can't go weaker, you gotta go stronger every time. And whooped this nigga ass in a parking garage. He had this nigga froze. Just shaking the shit. Why are you even alive? Froze. Shaking the shit. And then starts pummeling fucking, concrete cylinders that hold the fucking ceiling up. And just collapsed an entire parking garage on this nigga. And was like, come find me at the Dark Tournament. So he had to train with Genkai. Fucked around. Got to the Dark Tournament. And this nigga killed Genkai right before the tournament. That shit had me so fucked up. So this nigga was like, it was a whole thing. He used to fuck with Genkai, and then this nigga had to use that shit as motivation on some Super Saiyan 2 Gohan level shit to beat this nigga ass. And still barely got the job done. That shit was beautiful. From everything this nigga did, how he orchestrated the shit, and I ain't gonna spoil the end of the fight for the people who haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, because you gonna hear me talk about this a lot, and then you might want to go watch this shit. This shit's fucking great. But this nigga Toguro basically went out how Aizen went out. That shit was fucking fantastic. That shit was good. So that is my number 5.
Alright, and so number 5 for me is actually a little bit of a surprise, considering this is a show that I have bashed on repeatedly. And it is also, well, I wouldn't say bashed on repeatedly. It's a show that only really had one good arc to this point, in my opinion. Miriam from Hunter x Hunter. This man has accomplished a feat.
He almost made my list.
This man accomplished a feat that no other villain in any other anime succeeded in doing. This man genuinely made me sad when he died. I have never been genuinely disheartened when a villain died before. But Miriam was the first. This man was, the way that they did that shit at the end just had me, I was rooting for Miriam the whole time. I'm like, bro.
So why you gotta kill him?
Yeah. I was like, why you gotta kill him? Why can't this man literally finally come up was like, yeah, I think we can have peace. Netero was like, nah.
I'm gonna blow us all.
The way the dialogue switched from it was like Netero's the good guy and Miriam's the villain to in a heartbeat was that was a pretty special moment. Miriam makes the top 5. That man's great.
That is fair. That is super fair. I got nothing on that. That shit was fantastic. My number 4, and it's just kind of the same as his. It hurt me when this nigga got his ass beat. It was pain. Because this nigga was the first villain that looked the MC in the face and was talking about what about my pain? What about the shit I've gone through? Until that point, a lot of villains had been cookie cutter. You knew their motives and all this shit. But sometimes, most of the time, you don't really give a shit. But this nigga sat this nigga down, stuck both his hands with some rods, and leaned all the way in and look at me. Talked to this nigga. Bro, your village has caused so much pain throughout the world. My village was destroyed completely, and your village is bullshit ass fighting.
Was the very first villain in Naruto
bruh.
to talk no jutsu Naruto! Usually that's Naruto's thing. Naruto goes to the villain and talk no jutsu the fuck out of all them boys. No. Pain rolled up in his village, blew that bitch up, killed everybody in that bitch basically, beat his ass, beat his girlfriend's ass, and talk no jutsu to his ass in one arc. All that shit in one arc, which is actually leads right into mine because he's my number 4 too. Because he's a menace. Bro, Pain is a fucking problem.
Bro, he killed Jiraiya.
He killed Kakashi. He blew the whole village up. He was bodying everybody in that bitch. He split it. Everybody up. They were blowing the village up over here. They were killing these people. They were blowing these villages up. They killed these people. Bro, literally. only a handful of people did not get murked when Pains invaded the village. Tsunade, Konohamaru, Sakura, because she had to be the one to summon him. Because she had to be there for a plot device sometime. Someone had to do it. But it's like... And then, but that whole fight, too, was amazing, from his speech of, what about my friends, my family, my village,
Mm-hmm.
We got blown up by you guys years ago.
Will know my pain.
Right, and he's like, but only you people get to talk about peace and justice. Like, that whole segment was just really hit you in the face, because it's like, that's really happened. They blew his shit up years ago. His best friend died in his fucking arms.
Yes.
Bro. But now you're like, oh, you blew up my village. I'm going to kill you. Well, what about my fucking village, you piece of shit? That should happen to me too. Here we are, years later.
And it's another part that a lot of villains, when they just crush the main character, just make them think, hey, if I was stronger, this shit wouldn't have happened. This nigga changed Naruto's whole scope from I need to get stronger to stop the cycle of hatred. And then to top it all off, Nagato brought everybody back when Naruto talked no jutsu this nigga.
Well, yeah,
back.
that was the crazy thing. All the way up until this point, Naruto, I need to get stronger, I need to get stronger, I need to get stronger. I'm just, realizing he was just that wimpy kid that just tried to talk to everybody. Mm-hmm. But then, he was focusing so much on, I need to get stronger, I need to get stronger, I need to get stronger, that when Pain hit him with the, well, what about my people? It really shook him for a second. He's like, fuck, I was so focused on my strength. I stopped thinking about other people. Yeah. He's like, that's literally been my goal from the beginning, is to bring people together. And I'm literally contradicting myself right now by talking about I'm about to kill this man. Like,
that's it. Damn,
that was one of the only like genuine MC to villain heart to heart connections that was real. Like, you were like, fuck. Yeah, that was one of the honestly best moments in all of Naruto, hands down.
That shit was hands down.
The Pain arc was fantabulous.
All right,
top 3.
Yeah, I can't believe my number 4 was the same. That was nice. Number 3, Ukiyo Shifuer. I love this man to death. Not just the fights, how this man took command. He was basically what Coyote Stark was supposed to be. I was so disappointed when I found out this nigga was 4 and Stark was 1. But I mean, seeing it to like real for real kind of makes sense. But Aizen just had different plans for this nigga. That's why he put the 4 on him. But from the moment this man popped up, when Yami was running amok, he told this nigga, bro, he was like, don't go over there all half-assed, he gonna fuck you up. And then the nigga got his arm cut off. That's how you know this nigga was a problem. He watched that shit, looked at Ichigo, and was just unfazed. He originally told this nigga Aizen, was like, bro, I'm kind of disappointed in your choice. I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. And then the second time he saw that nigga, all after he didn't about to be fucking up Green Jar and shit. Still, I'm completely disappointed in you. And the whole time, the best part about Ichigo or Ukiyora's first pop up was when he kidnapped Orihime. The speech this nigga gave her, bro, was the most. I wouldn't have rebelled against this nigga.
Where's your heart?
No, that was the last one. The first one was he met her in the Dagai precipice, and nigga popped up, and he looked at her and was like, you're coming with me. She was like, oh, you here to kidnap me or whatever? He was like, no, I'm telling you to come with me. She was like, what do you mean? He was like, bitch, this ain't an option. If you don't come with me, I will kill everyone. I'm going to kill Ichigo. I'm going to kill all your friends. And the only thing that you can do to protect them is say yes. This nigga before, and it's fucked up because she was about to talk, and this nigga said, shut up. The only thing I want to hear out of your mouth is yes, I'm coming with you. Anything else will result in all of your friends' death. And he meant that shit. And the scaling at the time, he could have done that shit. And the only reason that Ichigo was still alive is that this nigga believed in Aizen more than any other Espada. He was loyal to that nigga, and his word was law. That was it.
That was the only thing Isaac commanded of them. He's like, look, if I tell you what to fucking do, you're gonna fucking do it. Like, that's about it. That's about all there is to it. I mean, literally, that cost Grimjaw's hand. You saw what happens. Yeah. You don't fucking go against what Isaac tells you to do. Ulquiorra was sir about that shit.
I mean, Geen tried it. That didn't work out too
well. Yeah, you saw what happened to Geen. That shit was sad as fuck too. That was one of the deepest moments in fucking anime history. Oh, we will definitely be back to that later.
But alright, number 3.
Number 3 for me, Agnologia.
Fantastic. I love this man.
Agnologia is fucking amazing, bro. This man, like, the flexing he did throughout the whole series was ridiculous. First of all, he pieced up Gildarts. Bro.
Impressive. That's highly impressive.
Gildarts came back and was like, bro, that black dragon almost fucking killed me. Like, bro.
That shit was a problem.
That's when you already knew he was going to be a problem. Gildarts came back fucked up. And Gildarts is easily the strongest person in the whole series.
Period.
And Agnologia just sent him packing. And then the next...
Blowing up Tenro Island.
Bro, go pulling up on Tenro, making them have to use Fairy Sphere just to keep him in check. Because he was about to blow all their asses up. And then you talk about fucking... Bro, the most menacing shit he did, though, was when he pulled up on Irene's dead body and just started... Stomping that shit, bro.
That was so disrespectful.
So disrespectful. And then, Urza and Wendy are standing right there, and you're sitting here to yourself, don't fucking say anything. Don't say anything, this man will murder you. Sure enough, what did they do? Stop it! I was like, fuck. Immediately, you're like, no, this isn't going to end well. So he turns around, he's like, what did you say to me, bitch? Basically, Jalal swoops up, right? Because, Jalal's her man. He's like, I'm about to save you. This. Grand Chariot! Bro says, hey. What part of I eat all magic do you not understand? Bro, ain't that whole... And for all you that know, Jalal's Grand Chariot is not a fucking pushover move. No. That is not a pussy spell. He drops a Grand Chariot on you, that shit's gonna fucking hurt. Bro, Agnologia said... Tasty. Like... Uh-oh. Yeah, like... That's good. And again, the way that they literally had to put the whole world against this man, split his being into two, fought all the Dragon Slayers at the same time and won, and then fought everybody else on the whole planet over here.
They fought this.
They were
fighting his soul, and the other ones were fighting his dragon form.
They had to fight a dragon and Agnologia at the same time and defeat them at the same time.
That was a problem.
And not to mention, again, this is the same man that bodied Gildarts. This man one-shot God Serena, who was the supposed #1 wizard on the continent. Yeah. Agnologia, I wasn't talking to you. Cut that man down with no effort. Like, that man is a menace. I love Agnologia so much.
Alright, going on to number 2, I got Madara Uchiha. This man is a goddamn menace. For those of y'all who know, when this nigga first got mentioned, the Nine Tails mentioned that shit to Sasuke, and Sasuke was like...
That wasn't even the first time. They mentioned him all the way back in the OG series.
All the way back in the
They mentioned it. I don't remember exactly who said it, but someone in the OG... Like, you can even take it at face value, because he was shown... During their final fight, he's one of the fucking statues in Final Valley. Yeah. So, I mean, he's literally been built up for hundreds of episodes.
Sorry, that nigga, when he first popped up, was just on straight menace mode, bro! He had to test out his new body and was just beating the dog shit out of people. The fact that this nigga was just... They had to get 5 nations worth of niggas, the entire planet, to fight this one nigga. And they all lost.
Off a name basis alone. He literally... It wasn't even him at first. Toby popped up at the Summit Conference and said, I'm Madara. That immediately was enough to trigger everybody to team up. Yeah, they were like, yeah, fuck that. We're not fucking with you.
The whole basis of the meeting changed immediately.
It went from them at each other's throats to, we can't fucking let that guy do what he wants.
No, not at all. Not at all. And then Not only did he beat the shit out of the entire Shinobi Alliance, he clapped all the Kage, and then this nigga had to fight my favorite niggas, Naruto and Sasuke. And the fucked up part is, you think that I just got all these power-ups, and I'm about to go at least halfway handle this nigga before he power up again or something. But no, as soon as Sasuke come in, he just
dead.
Stabbed. Immediately dead. Right through. Naruto, damn near the same thing. Right
extracted the 9 tails.
Done. And I'm just like, but
yeah, literally within 2 minutes of the MC showing up, they're already lost. It was pretty crazy.
Better than this. What's going on?
It was pretty crazy. But it's just, the crazy thing about the whole thing, and we'll get into this more in a second, is Madara. The whole time he was out there, he was bullshit. He was bullshit
the whole time.
Most of it, he wasn't even trying. Number 2 for me, I knew this is where it was going to get contentious. Number 2 for me is Sosuke Aizen.
No.
So, Aizen is an absolute fuck. This man plotted out the entire series of Bleach. From start to end, this man had that shit plotted already. He was the reason the whole shit happened. He's like, yeah, I've known about you before you were even born. I've been grooming you to be my challenger. I needed somebody to fight. I've been bored. You can only be the best. You can only be the best thing around for so long before you just get tired of it. Like, talk about, this is my soul society.
Welcome to my soul society, you haul.
Like, that man is a menace. Especially, bro, if you get into the manga, this man, from a sitting position, still strapped to a chair, made people bow to him with just his spiritual pressure alone.
Or not even that. When the Quincy's came back and they were trying to deal with all the fodder things and they couldn't fucking handle it, this nigga was still just talking about some, why don't you just blow him up with your spirit energy? They were like, why don't you just what? He flexed and then the whole boom. I was like, wait, whoa, hold up. You can't be doing that to people.
Yeah, no.
You can't just be blowing people up with your spirit. It's not even fighting. You're just crushing people to death with your existence. That's not okay. The people that other captains can't body, you just body
the thing about the top 2 villains on these lists, because I know they're the exact same for both of us. They're just in different orders.
His number one's Madara, my number one's Aizen.
That was already we already figured these were going to be our top 2 going into this regardless. But it's like, these 2 are on a completely different level than literally any other villain and anything else. Like, I mean, again, the build-up for them both was insane. Madara was built up for hundreds of episodes. You hear a mention of his name. You see him in his statues. When the first time his name is mentioned in front of people, everybody loses their shit. Basically shits their pants on the spot. Big enough to start an entire world alliance just to deal with this man claiming to be Madara. Yeah. And then when the real Madara shows up, he comes down, claps a whole division in an instant, takes out all the Kage, kills the main characters, powers up again, fights fucking 8th gate guy who is like the strongest person in the series.
That shit was crazy.
And gets kicked in half. Laughs it off. You almost killed me. I declare you the strongest. Like, talking shit, flailing his fucking dick around on people the whole time from the moment he's on screen. But then turns out Aizen is the same way. Look at the way he fucking had all these captains in the palm of his fucking hand. The way he did Toshiro made him stab his own bitch. Are you sure that was me that you hit? Why don't you look again?
That shit was bonkers. This nigga beat the head captain who has been in charge of the Soul Society. And I love Bleach for this purpose. These niggas are hundreds of years old.
Thousands of years old.
The head captain is thousands of years old. Everybody else is like 900 and down.
Well, this man has been head captain for 1,000. This man has
been head captain for 1,000 years plus, bro. This shit is crazy. And he came up with plans to beat that nigga Every single one of his captains was there, and all the visors that were coming after this nigga. Plus, niggas in his
Ishin showed up. Kiski showed up. He took out his own espadas. He got sick of his own espadas. He's like, you're too weak. Fuck you. I'm about to do this shit myself.
Gin betrayed that nigga, stabbed him.
Gin betrayed him. Thought he had the upper hand. He just... I knew that was coming. Found out that Gin was a triple agent, pretending to be good, pretending to be bad, pretending to be good, pretending to be bad, just for Aizen to be like, yeah, I saw that coming. Like,
all of it. And this nigga Gin did it all for the titties.
All for big titty Rangiku.
All for Rangiku.
Bruh.
I can't say I would have done the same, but this nigga made her cry as a kid, and this nigga Gin, as an 8-year-old, stood up talking about some, I'm gonna kill that nigga. What? Excuse me? And failed.
And it's just crazy because
all that time to plan and failed.
It's crazy because he was so strong. They literally said he was a prodigy from me when he was this man was probably one of the strongest captains, if not probably one of the strongest captains behind maybe Kenpachi and Unohana, but like,
cause spoilers, she's a monster.
Yeah, but other than those two, Gin was arguably probably the strongest captain.
Yeah,
I mean,
every other captain at least got bodied once on screen.
Yeah, Gin was still fighting Ichigo right before he went to the fight with Aizen.
Period.
And Gin was just Gin was just playing with him. He wasn't even trying.
They said, "Ooh, I'm sorry, Aizen. Did I interrupt your fight?"
It's just. Yeah, no, there were some fantastic layers to that shit, and that was beautiful.
That shit was beautiful. So, number 2 and number 1 are interchangeable. His is Madara, mine's Aizen, but they are both our respective number 2 because they are just fan-fucking-tastic. And
they're incomparable to literally anybody
else because the stratagem, the power, the just monstrousness, the ruthlessness, it's all there. And it's all fan-fucking-tastic, and I love it.
That's what that was the big thing that I feel like was a step down from Madara to Kaguya, was the just straight ruthlessness.
She fell in love with a human. She wasn't from
she didn't even give a fuck for real. Like, she was just kind of like, I feel like she wasn't even fully there. She just kind of got brought back. She was kind of like grogginess, so because that's who's kind of talking her through it. And, so she's kind of like there. But it's like, no, Madara was, snatching people's eyes out. Bitch, give me your eye. Killing main characters. I'll take that. Killing main characters. Body and Bijou effortlessly.
Time out. That just made me thinking the whole Bijou moment. This nigga stood up when he first got his real body back. It was
dragged all that. Yep. Dragged all tail beast right back to him.
That shit's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these Madara and Aizen sit so high above everybody else in their own respective series that it's insane. Like, they literally in both respective series, the MCs had to get some crazy, ridiculous plot armor amp just to be able to overcome that.
Yeah, that shit's nuts. And they were both temporary amps. They were both so strong.
I don't think the Naruto and Sasuke's were. I don't think theirs were temporary. They got Sage of 6 Paths powers. I don't think that was temporary.
Wasn't it? I'll say they got fucking debuffed in Boruto.
I mean, now they got debuffed in Boruto, but I mean, I don't know. With the way that they were piecing up the other Otsutsukis, I'm pretty sure they still had some of that Sage shit going on.
Have full on.
See, that's the thing. What? That's another debate in its own right, because I hear a lot of people say that. What gives anybody the impression that they were nerfed between the war and Boruto? If anything, they're way the fuck stronger.
Not saying they're not stronger. I'm just saying, like, it was one of those things that just seemed like it was one of those I'm with you for now type things. But like of course they internalized the powers later.
No, that was him internalizing it because they're his descendants.
Yeah.
So they already had this shit in them.
I guess.
He was just kind of like, hey, don't forget. Well, it was more like an awakening almost. It was like, hey, this stuff is inside you. Make sure you use this shit. It's gonna be helpful. Because I feel like there's no way it was just yes, I'm gonna give you my power. Man's already dead. He doesn't have any power to give you. Man's dead. All he did was just awaken shit that was already there.
That's fair. But a couple of these things are going to be a whole nother topics for debates. That is our top 10.
Top 10
villains.
Yep, that is our top 10 villains from anime.
Like the video if you like. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
And we will be back.
Hell yeah. Peace out.